Welcome to Legal Issues Within Higher Education. You're going to watch 3 videos this week that are short videos, so bear with me, and we're going to learn a little bit about higher education law. You all ready? Okay, so let's see. So now the next slide that we have here is we're going to cover some materials on sort of the samplings of cases that we see in higher education law. And you're thinking to yourself, well, what kinds of cases do happen in higher education? Well, we see things such as, you probably have seen it before, protests of students protesting on the student plaza, making a scene, protesting something about tuition, something about rights of individuals, protesting maybe they want a faculty member back in the classroom. So hopefully you guys will protest for me to keep me in the classroom. The virtual classroom, that is, of course. There's also the stuff with hazing, right? So you got issues of hazing with athletics, with actually certain club teams, Greek life, which is the fraternities and sororities. So we've also seen it in bands. We'll cover some of the hazing cases in a few weeks, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that these are just some of the cases that we see. We also seen cases about learning disabilities. So students with learning disabilities are claiming rights which they deserve if they have a learning disability, and it's stuff such as extra time on exams, the types of exams, the types of papers. These are all things that we have to consider today. The other area that we're seeing much more of is, if I can get the slide to move on, is grade challenges. So some of the grade challenges that we've seen have dealt with individuals who want to, they've gotten an A, they've gotten a B, but they wanted an A, or they needed a certain grade to achieve for purposes of work or licensure. Next week, we're actually going to see a series of cases that actually impact contract claims, where they said they had a contract, they had expected a certain contract to be fulfilled by the institution, and they expected to achieve a certain grade. So those are kinds of interesting cases. We also see cases of tenured faculty members who have challenged it too. Are some tenured faculty members considered dead wood, or should some faculty members that who are tenured, should they be terminated? In which cases should they be terminated? How easy should they be terminated? So those are things that we'll be looking at in this class.
I would love to fire him, but I cannot. He has tenure.
He's asleep right now.
But there's other cases too that we will also see. For instance, hate and harassment. Where does one end and where does one start? And when does the type of activity or behavior that a student or maybe a faculty member displays arises to hate or harassment? What is illegal versus just pushing the envelope? We'll also look at issues of affirmative action. How do we get more students of different backgrounds into our classrooms? But at the same time, how do we create fairness and equity for other individuals who may not be part of a protected class? The third item that I have on the slide is about sexual misconduct. There's a lot of cases, a lot of situations as of late in the last few years. Actually, really since 2011, we've seen an upsurge of sexual misconduct reporting, as well as schools who are not doing a very good job with actually handling sexual misconduct cases in their schools. And of course, then there's the slip and fall, the traditional slip and fall cases where an individual on campus gets hurt, perhaps through water, ice, or other elements on the ground. So now the case that we wanted to see, that I'm just going to show you a quick video about, is about a person, Trina Thompson, who couldn't get a job. She actually finished her Bachelor's of Business Administration from Monroe College. She's suing because she said the school should be helping her find a job, or actually help her get a job. She didn't get a job. She was unsuccessful. Consequently, she sued. Now let's hear about this case.
No, I'm excited about this story.
Welcome back to the Road Show, everybody. This morning in the Buzz, one recent college graduate had given new meaning to the term class action lawsuit. Trina Thompson Thompson says she gave it the old college try, but now she can't find work. So she is suing her alma mater for her money back. The Monroe College grad wants the $70,000 she spent on tuition because she hasn't found gainful employment since gaining her bachelor's degree in April. The 27-year-old says the business-oriented Bronx school hasn't lived up to its end of the bargain and has not done enough to find her a job.
Now, before you roll your eyes, let me just tell you that Monroe College,
Yes.
what they do in order, different schools do different things in order to get people in and to enroll. Some say, hey, we're going to offer you a laptop. Some say, we have this great campus or whatever, a whole host of things. What Monroe College apparently told this girl was, we will find you, we're going to get you some
This is what they tell everybody.
This is what they tell everybody.
Yeah.
But they say, if you come to this school, we provide job counseling, we provide placement with some of the leading industries. We will attach you with a counselor who will work with you to get a job. And in this particular economy, and right now, I think I would choose a college that would say, listen, we're going to get you hooked up with a business so that I don't think they guarantee a job.
Yeah.
But one step short of that,
Therein lies the road.
All right.
Well, and I think that was the one caveat to this whole thing. If they actually said, we will find you a job,
Right.
that's the possibility where you could possibly finagle it. But there's a lot of schools that say, where you have counselors. The school I went to, we have counselors that are going to try to find you a job. But the fact of the matter is, at least if you're a responsible student, don't leave your future in the hands of a stranger.
Here's the thing. This girl says she is a responsible student because she and her mom are in debt. They're struggling to keep a roof over their head because she lives with her mother. And they've been trying to, make this work. And we've talked a lot about how expensive schools are.
It's true.
And you want something for your investment.
Let me get the other side of the issue.
Okay.
The school's response said, quote, the lawsuit is completely without merit. The college prides itself on the excellent career development support they would provide to each of our students, and the case does not deserve further consideration. So basically the college is saying...
But they're walking a fine line, because here's the thing. They're still putting out that message that we are going to help you try and find a job, that we have excellent career placement, but they're saying that it's without merit.
But do they not have that in place? Are they not trying their best to try to help people get a job? If there aren't any jobs to be had,
exactly.
Yeah.
What more do you want them to do?
I totally agree.
I think it's also going to go down to the marketing material, because if it says anywhere that we'll help you get a job, or we'll get you a job.
Well, any university you go to has job fairs. I don't care what university you go to. You can go from community college, you can go to Harvard. They have job fairs. And you try to do your best. Listen, it's a competitive world out there.
The one piece of advice I give to any of the possible students that are going out there, just because they have a job placement thing doesn't mean you just sit back and wait for them to find you a job.
It doesn't work that way.
Proactive.
No, you gotta
they don't have a vested interest.
And you know what? Even then, you may not find a job right away. You know how long it took me to find a job?
She's been out of school for 3 months.
10 months to find my first job in this business. I worked 3 part-time jobs.
So here's the complaint that the student filed. You can just go and take a look at it here. She wrote, I graduated with my associate degree in December 2006. I walked June 12 of 2007. Then I took a semester off. I went back to college for my bachelor degree in April 2008. I recently graduated with my bachelor's in April 2009. I am seeking a reimbursement of $70,000 from my tuition because the Office of Career Advancement Information Technology counselors are not making sure their e-recruiting clients will call the graduates that recently finished college for an interview to get a job placement. They have not tried hard enough to help. I also want to sue them for the stress I have been going through. What do you think? Let's look at this document, look at the sentences and the sentence structure even, the use of words, the misspellings. Does this person, should she have even gotten the college degree? The college did give it to her. Apparently they gave it to her after a year out. So she went back for her bachelor's degree in April 2008. She finished in April 2009. Did the school do anything at fault? And if they didn't, to what extent are we talking about an ethical obligation versus a legal obligation? Let's think about this for a second. Let's read this document just one more time. Just scan it over again. Tell me what your thoughts are. Let me tell you what I'm thinking.
Girlfriend, things to make
So, in any case, it's things that make you go, Let's go on to the next slide and let's talk a little bit more about this. What's the issue? There's interests of the parties that you have to really think about. So when we look at these cases that you're going to have to say to yourself, who are the plaintiffs and who are the defendants? Typically in these cases, the plaintiff is a college student or a college employee. So these are the people who are actually initiating the lawsuit. They're filing the complaint. They're the plaintiff and they're saying, I'm not happy about something that happened, and here's why. Sometimes it's a matter of self-image. It's about self-image for the faculty member to be feeling that they save face, or it's about self-image of the student because someone said to the student they look like Monica Lewinsky, which by the way is a true case. Another time it could be about the grade outcome, that they wanted to achieve a certain grade because they needed it perhaps for licensure to be a school counselor. So we got to think about what is it that they're fighting for? Why are they fighting for this case? Why are they investing so much time and energy on this stuff? The second side of that is the defendant. Well, those are usually typically in these cases. We're talking about the college or the university, right? So what are they fighting for? Well, they might be fighting for ensuring that they have faculty and institutional autonomy away from the courts, so that every single time something happens, we're not using courts to solve the problems, but they want to create their autonomy so that they can stay away from and stay under the radar of these court cases. So sometimes they may settle out. Sometimes they may say, we're gonna fight for this because we need to make sure that we keep our autonomy and that if the things don't get dictated to us. And a part of that autonomy may be because it's about the integrity of the courses. There's the students suing about the courses, and they're saying it's about the integrity of the courses. We need to keep the standards up, so we're not going to water it down just because we're being sued by it. Another one may be the consistency of grading. If the student is suing about grades, well, if just because a suit is there, we're not going to change a grade. Because if that were the case, then everybody would be threatening lawsuits, and we would never have any standards for grades. So those are things that we have to think about. Again, it's the interest of the parties is pretty important in these cases. Now, throughout the time where we're taking this class for the next 15 weeks or so, we want to figure out which laws that you're going to apply and why. You're going to see throughout the time while you're taking this class that some of the laws are going to be obvious, some of them may not be as obvious, but they're these hidden laws that help students or help colleges in defending themselves. Hope that laser got you more alert. I know it's getting a little dry here, so let's keep on chugging away. We're almost done with round 1 of slides. So there's 3 branches of government. I don't need to teach you that. It's you probably know your civics lessons, but I just want to emphasize that what makes this interesting about the 3 branches of government is how cases arise and and basically how the law is formulated. We know that statutes are one of the sources of laws. For instance, someone may be suing about student financial aid under the Higher Education Act, or someone may be suing under Title IX, which is about gender equity. Now, while we have the statutes, the executive branch, which is typically in our case we're looking at the U.S. Department of Education, has to interpret the statutes and create regulations that relate to the statute itself. Statutes take precedence over or are higher in the hierarchy of law than regulations, but they're important. So they help us understand things. So there's a checks and balances here. Now, a lot of times what will happen is there's a problem with the law or there's an interpretation of the law that wasn't actually dealt with. So that's where the cases come in. But we'll see some of these cases, and we'll talk more about these cases again, in the next 15 weeks. You're going to see some very odd cases, and you're going to see some cases you're going to think, well, this seems obvious. What was the big deal? Just keep in mind the hierarchy of legal sources. So the federal Constitution being the most important, that defines our rights and privileges, and the other layers of law can only give us more rights, not fewer rights. So the federal Constitution gives us a set of rights. The university can't give us fewer or less rights. It can only clarify certain things within those rights. But that's what we have to think about is the hierarchy of laws. So, and also we have to think about university law or policy does not trump federal law. So let's just keep that in mind. I just want you to think about the hierarchy of laws because some of the cases are going to come about where you're going to be seeing how a state law and federal law sometimes, or a university and the state constitution have some conflicts, or state laws have conflicts. So, and that's what the issue is sometimes. The other thing we have to think about too is the different types of institutions will also create different laws. So as you can guess, religious universities, college universities have more rights over students because it could be for religious reasons. So there are things that are out there that may restrict what a college or university can do, or may actually give them more rights of what they can do, and religion is one of them. So notice the different types of schools that are being involved in the lawsuit. That's very important. Okay, well that does it for round one of the videos. We have 3 videos for this week. They're very short videos. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we will move on to the next one pretty soon.